I'm Elsie, a 26-year-old newlywed. My husband, Harrison, is 30. He has a solid job at a well-known company. We met when I was working at a department store, and Harrison, a client of the store, took an interest in me. We live close to my in-laws and have frequent interactions with them. I'd say we get along pretty well. Sure, there's some friction with my mother-in-law, Mira, but we manage. My father-in-law, Elliot, is a quiet guy. He's into saving and investing, and he's always reading the financial news. I grew up near the mountains, spending my childhood running around my grandpa's property. I thought I became pretty average after moving to the city for college. Yet my love for the outdoors persists. Nowadays, I prefer spending time in nature over wandering around town. These days, I've mellowed out as Harrison's wife. Sometimes I miss the mountains back home, so I watch camping videos on YouTube to soothe my soul. One day, I got a call from home. It had been a while, so Harrison and I decided it was a good time to visit. My hometown is in a remote area, so we had to drive for about 4 hours. Surrounded by mountains on both sides, it's a place that's inconvenient in many ways. Frankly, it's the countryside. My grandpa owns both fields and mountains. My dad mainly manages the fields, while my grandpa takes care of the rest. As a kid, I adored my grandpa and always looked forward to going to the mountains with him. But recently, he's aged and stopped going. When we arrived, my grandpa greeted us.
"Wow, Elsie."
"Hey, Grandpa, long time no see. How have you been?"
"I'm still kicking. Won't kick the bucket until I see your kids."
"Good to see you again, sir." Harrison finally chimed in, after not getting a word in.
"Ah, Harrison, how have you been?"
My grandpa greeted him with his rugged, wrinkled face and held my hand in his strong grip. It felt really warm. Then, after a heartfelt dinner, my dad began to talk as we sipped some drinks.
"The reason I called you all here is to talk about Grandpa's inheritance."
"Inheritance? Isn't Grandpa still well?" All I asked, my grandfather, who was sipping his wine, responded.
"Well, I'm turning 80 this year. You never know what might happen. I want to share my thoughts before I start losing my mind."
"Don't talk like that. You're still lively."
"I think so too."
My dad chuckled, pulling out a piece of paper.
"But the old man is pretty stubborn. Once he gets an idea, it's hard to change his mind. It's not really an inheritance. It's more like a gift while he's still alive. Anyway, my brother and I will continue to manage the farm as we always have."
Pointing out a part of the document, my dad continued.
"Grandpa wants to leave you that mountain." "What? Really, Grandpa?"
Harrison leaned in as he spoke. "Why are you chiming in?" I asked.
Sorry, it just caught my interest."
"Look, I haven't thought of anything right now, and there's nothing I can do with it."
Don't worry about taking care of the mountain. I'll leave that to the experts. In return, I'll just take some fish and mushrooms we find up there. That's fair, right?"
Dad says. "Sure, but make sure to send me some mushrooms."
"All right, it's settled then. We'll take it from here."
"Fine by me. Where's Harrison?"
"He's on the phone outside."
"Who's he talking to?" "Maybe his family. It doesn't matter." So I inherited the mountain from my grandfather. Later, Harrison was acting oddly cheerful, grinning in a strange way. That expression, it looked like he was scheming something. I figured he wouldn't answer anyway, so I let it be. When I got home, there was a dinner invitation from my in-laws. Thinking how unusual this was, I headed to the restaurant they specified. I met up with Harrison at the restaurant, and soon after my in-laws arrived. For some reason, Harrison and my in-laws seemed to be in a really good mood. "Elsie, was everyone back home doing well?" she asked. "Yes, my parents and grandfather are fine." "That's good to hear." Eventually, Elliot, who had become noticeably tipsy, spoke to me.
"So, I heard from Harrison."
"Yes? What is it?"
"You received a gift from your grandfather while he's still alive."
Well, yes. My grandpa wanted to sort things out while he was still alive, to avoid any disputes later."
Your grandpa sounds like a wise man. I heard you inherited some land. Is it big?
It's not particularly grand, but it has a beautiful stream. You can find trout and char there.
Nice. So, what are you planning to do with it?
Honestly, I hadn't thought of anything yet.
What a waste. You could make some good money off it, you know?
Elliot said with a sleazy grin. The attitude ticked me off a bit. That land is a place filled with memories of my grandfather and me. I don't want to use it just to make money.
Oh, don't worry. We're not thinking about that. But you do realize that since you inherited it, it's also mine, right?
Harrison said something unexpected. What do you mean?
Well, the land belongs to both of us. Since we're married, it's joint property.
Don't make decisions without asking me.
But we're a couple, aren't we? We live off the money I earn, so it's the same thing.
That's right. What belongs to the wife also belongs to the husband.
Exactly. You're my wife, so we've both inherited this land. You get it, right?
The in-laws tried to gang up on me again, this time with everyone involved. After dinner, my in-laws even followed us home, and we all had a casual drink. My in-laws and Harrison seemed to be having an even better time. I called it a night pretty early, but it seemed like my in-laws and Harrison stayed up chatting late into the night. Then, Elliot approached me for advice again. He said he was introduced to a real estate developer through a contact and had a conversation with him.
Just leave it to me,
he said proudly. Harrison added,
preliminary estimates suggest it's worth billions. Just trust me with it.
What are you doing without asking me?
Shut up. You're my wife. What's yours is ours. You'll thank me for this.
That's right. A good wife listens to her husband. If this works out, we all benefit. It's a win-win. I couldn't believe it. They were all blinded by greed. Until we talked about my grandfather's legacy, everything was fine. But everyone changed after hearing about the mountain. And they all started having these discussions without me. I spent my days filled with anxiety. Then one day, at Elliot's suggestion, we decided to go check out some mountains. We booked a nearby hotel, although the pretext was a family trip. It was actually an inspection. It's lovely, even more expensive than I thought.
Could probably sell it to a resort developer, build some villas and hotels, and we'll make a killing.
Mira and Harrison started talking nonsense.
Should we try a family camping trip?
And then, with hands on his hips, Elliot declared,
All right, this will be our camping ground. Elsie, you'll work here as staff. And no days off, of course.
Honestly, it's a suitable place for a campsite. The spot has good drainage and faces the south. It's close to a beautiful stream, perfect for family outings. The in-laws seemed pleased with the situation. Once we got home, a call was made to the developers right away. After hanging up, Elliot said,
They're going to check out the site next week. They even suggested turning it into a vacation home area, or a members-only resort hotel. This is going to be fun.
That sounds lovely. Can we use the hotel and stuff?
Of course, we'd be the owners. This could be our graceful retirement. In that case, I might manage the hotel. Elsie could manage the campground.
Campground manager?
Yeah, she's family. She can work for free and no days off.
You can't be serious.
What are you talking about? Our family is doing all this for you. It's only natural you work too. And you'd be working in the mountains, which you love.
Harrison laughed at his own comment. I couldn't help but join in on the in-laws conversation. Just then, I received a message from an old college senior.
Hey, long time no see. How are you?
Vernon. Vernon is a mountain climbing enthusiast who spent 2 years studying abroad as a member of a mountaineering club. Now he's taken that experience and landed a job at an outdoor gear manufacturing company. He's still climbing mountains.
You don't seem too happy. What's going on?
I explained the situation.
I see. Your husband's family seems to be blinded by money.
Yeah, it feels like they're all about making money off my mountain. I'm even thinking about divorce at this point.
Leave it to us. Let's hold a strategy meeting. You free?
Nobody pays attention to me, so I'm free to go out alone.
All right, I'll get in touch with the others. Cheer up, okay?
Talking to Vernon lifted my spirits a bit. Though I don't know what he's planning, he'll probably help me out. The in-laws, still excited about the mountain, wanted to go again. Reluctantly, I drove everyone to the mountain. We ventured deeper into the forest than last time. Finally, we reached the mountain entrance and got out of the car.
Hey, why is there a shrine here? Is it significant?
Harrison noticed a small shrine at the mountain entrance. Yes, it's a deity of the mountain, a branch shrine established by my ancestors. I pray there before entering and leaving the mountain.
That's quaint for modern times.
It's just a way to show gratitude and seek permission from the gods.
Psh! Nonsense.
This mountain provides us with mushrooms and river fish because of this deity.
That's just superstition. We're tearing down this tiny shrine when we build the campground.
Absolutely not. We've cherished and protected it.
I don't believe in gods or old tales,
Harrison said, kicking the shrine. What are you doing? You'll be cursed.
Let them curse me if they can. Ha ha ha,
he said, and quickly entered the mountain. As usual, I put my hands together and prayed.
Elsie, you should head back first. There's just too much complaining. We can't get anything done,
Elliot said, his face turning red with anger.
Fine, go away. You're such a bother.
Even after Harrison told me that, I decided to go home alone. I descended the mountain and got a local friend to drive me to the nearest train station. Suddenly, I noticed dark clouds rolling over the mountain. Looks like it might rain. Will it be okay? I rode the train alone and got home. When I got home, there was a message from Harrison online.
Where are you? I need help.
What happened?
I got a flat tire on the way back. My car won't move.
Well, looks like karma got you. I replied, and he said,
Don't say that. Help me.
I'll find the auto repair shop my parents use. I arranged for a tow truck from that shop. Feeling slightly vindicated, I texted back, Tough break, hang in there. After a while, he got back to me. Thanks to the tow truck, he was able to get moving. But it took time. Now he had to hurry back on the freeway. He spent quite a bit on the tow truck and car inspection. I couldn't help but laugh. After dinner, while relaxing, my line rang. It was Harrison. He got caught speeding on the freeway by an unmarked police car and was fined $180 for going 28 miles per hour over the speed limit. See, karma strikes again. That's what you get for disrespecting the mountain gods. I burst out laughing. For a while, my in-laws acted like adults, but soon they started excluding me from their conversations. Seems like they're still plotting to make a fortune off that mountain. Elliot was discussing resort development and campground operations around that mountain with a realtor. However, quite a bit of upfront investment is needed to develop the uneven forest land.
It's all about starting, borrowing a little money. It's no big deal.
Elliot seemed a bit shaky, as if he'd completely forgotten about the initial costs. My in-laws started scrambling to secure funds. It seems they are even talking to sketchy loan sharks. Will they be okay? I thought of showing the charm of the mountain to my in-laws to make them reconsider the resort development. Elliot, that mountain offers various pleasures. It's mushroom season now. Want to go again? Elliot pondered. To give him a nudge, I continued. How about it? The flickering bonfire in the night, the refreshing morning air, the aroma of coffee wafting around. It's a perfect setting for you, Elliot.
You think so? I'm quite particular about coffee, you know, very picky about its taste.
Picky, but he only likes grocery store coffee. I can already see you, rugged yet sophisticated Elliot, savoring coffee in the morning mountain air.
Ha! Now that you mention it, I was once told that I looked like a model for men's cosmetics. Maybe I should grow a beard. Mandem.
Elliot stroked his chin as he said that. It must be some old commercial I'm not aware of. Okay then, I'll look forward to a favorable answer.
Leave it to me.
Great, now Elliot is getting in the mood. What an easy mark. And so, we decided to go on an overnight camping trip. Fortunately, the weather was good, and we arrived at the mountain before noon. We brought 2 tents, one for my in-laws and one for me. The in-laws' tent wasn't secured well, no stakes hammered in properly, and they didn't even put up the rainfly. I warned them, but they shrugged it off. It's just one night. It'll be fine. I figured they might learn better from experience, so I stopped harping on it. I set up my tent on a slope that looked like it drained well. For dinner, I kept it simple with steak. After eating, I cleaned up and retreated to my own tent. I drank some canned beer and turned in early, while the in-laws enjoyed a bonfire. Morning came. Even in summer, the mountain air had a chill. I started to prep some coffee, soaking in the fresh mountain morning. I could still hear snores coming from my in-laws' tent. Seems they had fun late into the night. Eventually, they crawled out of their tent. Good morning. Care for some coffee? I looked up and was shocked beyond words. What? What happened to you guys? Their faces were swollen and deformed, as if they'd been bitten by a swarm of insects.
Forgot to zip up the tent last night. Woke up like this,
Elliot explained, scratching his face. It itches so much I can't stand it. Can we do something? Mira whined, also scratching.
Well, I didn't expect to wake up like this after a night of great drinks and mushrooms,
Harrison added, scratching his belly. Got any medicine?
Nope, don't have it.
Looks like he really went to town scratching an itch. There's even some blood seeping through in spots. I took him to my parents' home for treatment. We always had effective but stingy ointment for bug bites. I applied ointment to the 3, but Elliot was writhing. Ah, that spot! Ouch, it stings! Mira screamed, and Harrison shed tears. Seems like this is what people mean by agonizing cries. Well, it's a price for underestimating nature. I generously applied more ointment on them. The wrath of the mountain gods seemed to linger. Around this time, I got a call from my uncle on my father's side.
Actually, I can't keep up with the field I inherited from my father, and I'm thinking of letting it go.
He paused and said,
That land is so close to your mountain. How about you take care of it along with the mountain? You're free to use it as you wish. What do you think? Not a bad deal, huh?
I was immediately convinced. The field has good sunlight and drainage, but neglect would turn it into a wasteland. So I thought of setting up a campground there, separate from my in-laws' plan. When I talked to Vernon, he assured me it would be perfect for a campsite. Meanwhile, my in-laws were struggling with their previous mountain project due to lack of funds. They wanted me to be the campground manager, but I had been refusing.
You were supposed to manage it. We discussed this.
Harrison was getting irritated by my stubbornness. No, I won't work here. It was time. I told Harrison about my own plans. I'm going to set up my own campsite.
What? Are you serious?
An uncle of mine gave me some land, and I'll turn it into a campsite. I even have the support of an outdoor goods manufacturer. And the plan's already getting good reviews.
Do as you wish. We'll proceed with our own plans. Yours will fail soon enough. Ha ha ha.
Harrison stormed out, almost like a villain in a story. Then one day, I got a call from a senior colleague.
Hey, that thing you asked for? Consider it done. You can relax now.
Really? Thank you so much. And so my campsite plan was set into motion. Vernon gave me all sorts of advice, and we came up with a design that prioritized convenience. We used the elevation differences to add steps between plots, so people wouldn't be in direct eye contact. Each plot had a parking space, making it easy to unload, even with lots of gear. The admin building had a small convenience store and offers shower rooms. These amenities are free for guests to use. Finally, I decided to formally inform my in-laws. I told Harrison and my in-laws that I had something important to discuss and invited them over. Regarding the mountain and the campsite,
"Oh, finally made up your mind. You'll manage the campsite for us."
Elliot seemed genuinely happy. "Of course, a daughter-in-law is a member of the family, and it's only natural that you'd agree," Mira said smugly.
"We've been waiting for Elsie to say that. Now we can join the ranks of the rich elite. Ha ha ha."
Harrison is grinning from ear to ear. Looking at my lovely, overly cheerful in-laws, I let out a sigh. I hate to burst your bubble, but that's not happening. What? All three in-laws gasped in disbelief. Listen, the development of that mountain can't go forward. Actually, it's off the table. My words left my in-laws speechless, their mouths wide open. After a moment of silence, Harrison breaks in.
"What does that mean?"
I'm glad he asked. The area has been incorporated into a national park, so no development can happen.
"What?"
A second harmonious gasp from the family. Another round of silence follows. This time Elliot speaks up.
"So what does that mean for us? We can't make any money?"
"Yeah, what about our retirement?" My in-laws clamor, but I don't let it bother me. Harrison chimes in.
"I was going to quit my job at the end of this month to build a campground on that mountain and become the boss there."
"It can't be helped. It was the government's decision."
"So did the government pay you? They bought it, right?"
"Yes, I received a reasonable amount, but it's mine."
"What are you talking about? You're part of this family. That money should be ours."
Elliot stands up, clearly agitated. "No, even though we're married, the assets I inherited are mine alone, not yours."
"That's it. We're getting a divorce."
Harrison throws down his trump card, just as I had expected. "Fine, if that's what you want. I don't want to be a part of this greedy family either."
"Fine, I'm moving back to my parents' house starting today."
"Sure, you have no other choice. After all, this house is in my name, bought by my parents. You'll be the one leaving if we divorce."
"Shut up. Your campground will fail, and you'll regret this."
"Do whatever you like. I'll also be going back to my parents' house after sorting things here."
"Fine, have it your way."
So I completed the divorce proceedings, organized my home, and returned to my parents' house. During the division of assets in the divorce, it seemed Harrison had already invested even my share in his campground plan, complicating the split. My in-laws, already deep into their plans, had no choice but to proceed. A real estate agent suggested another piece of land for their campground. Eventually, their campground opened. It was located in the mountains and lacked adequate facilities, making it inconvenient for transporting gear from the far-off parking area. The equipment rentals were also priced high, and the sites were merely separated by ropes, offering no privacy. Honestly, it was a poorly designed facility, and soon enough the results showed. As expected, my in-laws' campground struggled due to its poor conditions and inconvenience, garnering almost no repeat customers. The management was so lax that even the tent sites were overgrown with grass. The landlord's ruthless and profit-driven ways backfired. The internet wasn't kind, and he went bankrupt before long. Word has it, my in-laws are now knee-deep in debt. To pay off those debts, they had to sell their family home and are now living and working in a hotel in the countryside. Then my campground opened. It's been a hit, with lots of repeat visitors. Even in the off-season, we're never short on guests. Once it appeared in a TV drama about high school girls enjoying camping, it became a pilgrimage site for fans, and the customer base surged. These days, I'm keeping busy as the campground manager. Lately, there are a lot of families, but solo camping is on the rise too. I never really noticed, but apparently this place is known for its clear, starry skies. Nestled in my favorite hammock, sipping on my go-to hot whiskey, I often catch sight of a shooting star against the night sky.
"Hey there, still as unglamorous as ever, huh? Here, brought you some gifts. Smoked mushrooms and trout my buddy sent over. They're good."
Thanks as always, but calling me unglamorous is a bit harsh. It's Vernon, who's been very supportive lately. He's been coming around to the campground, dropping off various treats. I never used to think he was cool, but lately, I've started to see him in a new light. Since he seems to have taken a liking to me too, maybe I'll invite him camping next time. As I ponder that, a shooting star crosses the sky. I instinctively put my hands together in a quick prayer. What I wished for is, of course, a secret, but somehow it feels like a big dream is about to come true.